When we think of a wind turbine, we all picture the same thing, right? A huge, three-bladed propeller spinning away on some windy hilltop. But what if that's not the only way? What if the real key to unlocking wind power everywhere else, we're talking cities, areas with just a light breeze, came from a totally different design? Well, today we're looking at a fascinating proposal from a company called Enerwin Korea, and they're not just selling an idea. They claim they have a proven solution that could completely change the game for distributed energy.
And this quote, this pretty much sums up everything they're about. It's a really bold statement. It means they're putting the blade, the absolute heart of the turbine, front and center. Their entire argument is that if you can fundamentally rethink how a blade works, you can revolutionize how we capture energy from the wind.
All right, so what's so revolutionary about their blade? Well, it all boils down to this technology they've developed called SAWT. Okay, so SAWT stands for symmetrical-airfoil wind turbine. And right away, you can see this is different. Instead of those twisted propeller blades we're all used to, these are symmetrical and flat. And get this, the inspiration came from the sailfish, one of the most efficient creatures in the ocean. The whole design is specifically engineered to work best where traditional turbines just can't. We're talking low wind environments.
So here's where that sailfish-inspired design gets really clever. A normal twisted blade actually lets a lot of wind leak past it while it spins. But the flat SAT blade creates what they call a solid disk effect. Think of it like a solid wall pushing against the wind. It just captures way more of that energy instead of letting it slip by. It's a totally different approach to airflow, built for maximum efficiency.
Now look, this innovative blade isn't just a cool piece of engineering for the sake of it. It's actually designed to solve a huge energy problem, especially in parts of the world that have been kind of left behind by the green energy boom.
Just take a look at South Korea. In 2022, the country's renewable energy generation was hovering just under 9%. The average for OECD countries, almost 33%. That is a massive gap. And one of the biggest reasons for that gap is that a lot of the country just doesn't have the super strong, consistent winds that old-school turbines need to work well.
And that right there is the fundamental challenge. How are you supposed to build a wind energy infrastructure in a place that, by traditional standards, just isn't that windy? That is the exact problem Enerwin set out to solve.
And you can see how they do it right here in the numbers. A conventional turbine needs wind speeds around 3 meters per second just to start moving. The SAWT turbine, it gets going at just 2.5. But here's the most important part. It hits its peak power output in pretty moderate winds of 9 meters per second. Traditional turbines need much stronger winds, like 12 meters per second, to do that. This means the SAWT is built for the kind of wind you get every day, not just on the stormiest days of the year.
Okay, but this is the part that really stands out. This whole business proposal moves from being a clever idea on paper to a verified working reality. Enerwin has developed something they call the 000 solution, and the best part is, it's already been proven out in the field. The 000 framework is really the core of their entire distributed energy solution, or DES. It's built on 3 simple but powerful pillars. Number 1, zero on-site staff, because the whole thing is run by an autonomous system. Number 2, almost zero operating costs, because that same system handles all the monitoring and management. And number 3, zero fuel costs, because it's running on 100% wind and solar. It's more than just a power plant, it's a totally self-sufficient energy ecosystem.
And this is not just a theory, this is real. At the Gwangyang port in Korea, they put the entire system to the test. The challenge was a remote landfill site, completely off-grid, that needed reliable power. So Enerwin went in and installed the whole shebang, 6 of their SAWT turbines, solar panels, and a battery storage system. And today, it's installed, it's operational, and it is successfully powering that site. This is the real-world proof that makes this whole proposal so compelling.
The Gwangyang project also marked a huge technical first for Korea. It was the first time this grid-forming inverter technology was used in an industrial setting. Now, in simple terms, this piece of tech lets the whole site create its own stable, independent power grid. It can even do something called a black start, which means if the system ever goes down, it can restart itself from scratch without any help from an outside power source. That makes it incredibly tough and resilient. So, you take all that innovation, all that real-world testing and validation, and what do you get? You get this number. On average, the SAWT technology is delivering 35% higher efficiency than other turbines in its class. That isn't a tiny improvement, that's a massive leap forward.
So they've proven the technology works. The big question is, what's next? Well, Enerwin has laid out a really clear and ambitious blueprint for growth, for scaling up both their tech and their business.
Their product roadmap shows a really logical progression. They've already commercialized the 15-kilowatt model. That's the one they used at the port. By 2027, working with Korea's national power company, they're launching a 90-kilowatt version. And after that, they're going for the big leagues, developing utility-scale turbines that can power entire towns.
What's really smart is that their business model is designed to grow right alongside the technology. They're starting out as a straightforward hardware manufacturer, just selling their turbines. But in stage 2, they become a power broker, building and running these independent microgrids themselves for places like islands or remote areas. The final goal? To become a virtual power plant operator, using software to connect a huge network of their turbines and run it like one single massive power station.
And you can bet this plan doesn't just stop at the borders of Korea. Enerwin has a very clear vision for taking this proven solution to the rest of the world.
And this isn't some vague, we hope to expand someday idea. It's a strategic, year-by-year playbook. By 2026, they're targeting the USA for manufacturing and marketing to the Americas. A year later, a hub in Saudi Arabia to serve the Middle East, Africa, and Central Asia. And by 2028, an office in the Netherlands as their gateway to the European market. It's a methodical, well-thought-out plan for going global.
So when you put it all together, what you have is a really compelling case. You've got an innovative blade design that works better in common conditions, you've got a complete energy solution that's been validated and proven in a real-world project, and you have a clear step-by-step plan for scaling up and expanding across the globe. All of which leads to one big question. Is this what the future of distributed energy looks like?